A man's wife with another man. When her husband secretly came home, he couldn't believe what he saw. What he did next with his wife and her lover is what we are about to see. The movie opens with Samuel on the phone, talking to his wife, wishing her a happy wedding anniversary. He was about to take her to a nice hotel to celebrate, but then he finds out from his boss that some urgent work had come up at the company, so he had to go to work. Samuel apologizes to his wife and assures her that even if he gets home late, they will still celebrate their anniversary. Samuel goes to his job, where he meets Lola. She had been assigned by the boss for some special work. Samuel tells Lola that maybe the boss likes her, which is why he is acting this way. After that, Samuel calls a shopkeeper to send flowers to his wife. Lola, who is standing nearby, overhears Samuel and smiles. Samuel actually works as a helper in a supermarket. While helping a woman choose something, he has an accident on his way home. Luckily, he isn't hurt, but he notices the car's license plate says Flash. When he gets home, usually his wife isn't there at this hour. Samuel had bought some gifts and had kept them ready to surprise her, and he begins to relax since he's tired from a long day. Then he notices his wife's purse is in front of him. He calls her, but the ringing seems to come from upstairs. Curious, he goes up to check. There, he sees his wife involved with another man. He is deeply disturbed. He immediately grabs the gun he keeps at home, thinking of going upstairs and killing them, but he restrains himself. To calm down, he takes a drink. Once he feels a bit composed, he goes upstairs. When Ashley notices him, she and her boyfriend both get very scared. Samuel has a gun in his hand, so he tells them to stay put. The man his wife is involved with is named Damien. Damien says that what happened was wrong, but tells Samuel he doesn't need to balance anything. Samuel doesn't accept this and asks them to sit down. He first wishes his wife a happy wedding anniversary and says, "You've broken my heart. I do everything for you. I love you so much. I work for hours, and yet this happens. I need answers now." He looks at the clock. He says, "As long as this clock keeps ticking, you are safe. If it stops and I don't get my answers, I will kill both of you." Samuel asks Damien how long he's been having an affair with his wife. Damien, scared, quickly says, "I've been with your wife for 6 months. Samuel responds, "So you've been seeing my wife for 6 months? Damien tries to clarify, "No, we only met a couple of times and today is the first time we were." Hearing this, Samuel gets furious. He asks, "When was the first time you met her and how did it happen?" Daniel explains that they had met online. Samuel's wife is crying. She feels terrible. Samuel now knows everything. She tells Samuel, "This is not your fault at all. I've done something terrible." Samuel recalls that a few days ago, she was talking to someone online and he had noticed it. At that time, his wife had told him that she was talking to her school friends, but in reality, she was talking to Daniel. Samuel notices Daniel has a ring on his hand. He asks, "Are you married?" Daniel confirms, "Yes, I am married." Then Samuel asks again, "Do you have kids?" Daniel replies, "I have a son, and my daughter is on the way." Samuel is lost in thought, realizing what a complicated situation he is facing. He is married, but how did things progress between them? Daniel explains that they used to chat with each other, got to know each other, and eventually their affair started. Samuel asks again, "How did it feel being with my wife?" Daniel doesn't answer. Actually, Samuel wanted them to romance in front of him, so that by watching their love, he could understand the void he had left for his wife. Hearing this, his wife says, "What are you talking about? This is between us. We can sit and solve it." But she realizes Samuel has a gun, and out of fear, they end up having to continue their romance in front of him. At that moment, her phone rings. It's her boss. Samuel picks up her phone and tells the boss that she can't come to work today because there's a problem at home, which she will handle. After the romance ends, Daniel says that he had seen a similar situation in a movie where a man comes home from work one day in a taxi but ends up at the wrong building. There, he sees his wife with someone else, enjoying herself. He feels deep pain and wonders how he could ever forgive her. Samuel says, "I feel the same now. I've never hurt anyone in my life, and I can't believe I'm thinking about punishing my wife for what she did. But you both have put me in this situation, and I don't know what I should do." Samuel wants to know more about Daniel. He checks Daniel's bag and finds a lot of money and cards. Seeing all that cash, Samuel realizes that Daniel also pays for the time with his wife, and his suspicion was correct. His wife says, "I wasn't doing this for money, but today I needed money." Samuel asks, "Why do you need money?" "I provide for you for whatever you need." She explains, "I was going to gift you a guitar, but we always had money problems, so I took a loan from him. My plan was to pay him back. I still love you." At this point, Samuel learns that Daniel was in the Air Force. Samuel had also wanted to join the Air Force but had no connections, which is why he couldn't. Daniel says, "Leave me out of this. I know a lot of people. You're still young. You can still become a pilot." Samuel replies, "You're not leaving here that easily." Samuel asks Daniel, "People even get nicknames. What's yours?" Daniel replies, "They call me Flash." Samuel thinks, "That's the same name we saw earlier on the car's license plate." Samuel asks, "What's your wife's name?" Daniel answers, "Justine." Samuel presses, "Do you have any problems with your wife?" Daniel says no, but he's actually troubled because there are problems at his home. Samuel asks, "If your wife finds out, what will you do?" Daniel says she'll understand because whenever he's in trouble, she stands by him. Daniel tries to explain to Samuel that there's blame on both sides for what happened. Maybe Samuel couldn't keep his wife happy, and that's why she felt happy with Daniel. But what could Daniel do about that? "This is a problem between husband and wife," Daniel says. "Your wife cheated in a room. I had no part in making that happen. You two should talk it out and find a solution. Please let me go from here." Samuel refuses. Daniel, angry, says, "Either kill me or let me go. You can't keep me here like this." Samuel replies that he can do anything. Daniel feels awful. He notices a Bible in Samuel's room and starts to talk. "When I was a child, my mother used to take me to church. The Bible says you should never let anyone hurt you. If you hurt someone or someone hurts you, it just keeps repeating." Samuel answers, "I'm not troubled by that. If I were, I would do to your wife what you did to mine. What I'm doing now is justice. The Bible also says you shouldn't have affairs with someone else's wife. That's wrong. What I'm doing is what God wants. When I look at my wife now, all I see is you. What should the punishment be? I think the punishment should be death." Daniel pleads, "Don't do that. I can give you a lot of money, enough for you to live a good life. Just let me make a call. You'll have the money by evening." Samuel doesn't listen. Daniel keeps 2 phones, one he uses for the affair. When Samuel checks the phone, he finds that Daniel has saved Samuel's wife's number under the name Call Girl. Samuel tells his wife what name Daniel saved her under and says, "See, Daniel, what do you think about that?" Daniel tells Samuel that they're really the same. When Samuel married his wife, she was already married. Hearing that, Samuel gets furious. How did Daniel even know that? Samuel says Daniel doesn't understand. Samuel's husband used to beat his wife and didn't love her. He rescued her. "So we're not the same," Samuel says. "Understand whatever you want," Daniel replies. Samuel continues. "His father used to say we can't change certain things no matter how hard we try. But his wife betrayed him, and that hurts deeply. Why did you do this to me?" he asks. Daniel snaps back. "Loving someone isn't a crime, and I have money. I can do whatever I want." Samuel grows even more irritated and says, "People with a lot of money think they could do anything. The rich treat weak people like us as nothing, like mosquitoes." Actually, Samuel's wife and Daniel were from the same city, but Daniel tells him he wasn't rich back then. "I struggled a lot," he says. "Only then did I reach the position I'm in today." At that moment, Samuel gets a call from his worker, Lola, because Samuel had been absent from the company for quite some time. Since he hadn't returned, Lola called him. Samuel tells her there's a problem at home and that he stayed back to handle it. He promises he'll return to the company as soon as his work is done. After that, Samuel tells Daniel to call his wife and explain the trouble he's in. Daniel calls his wife and tells her everything honestly, which makes her break down in tears. She then asks Daniel if he loves her. Daniel replies that he has always loved his wife and will continue to do so. Next, Samuel talks to Daniel's wife. He says, "Because of what Daniel did, I could kill him. But I want to ask you, what should I do about it?" The phone is on speaker. Daniel's wife tells Samuel that they need to talk privately. When Samuel and Daniel's wife speak alone, they make a plan. Shortly after, Daniel's wife arrives. Daniel thinks she's come to save him, but that's not the case. She has another plan. Samuel and Daniel's wife start playing cricket in front of Daniel. They do this so that Samuel can confront his wife and Daniel can face the consequences of his actions. But as she leaves, Daniel's wife tells Samuel, "Do whatever you want with Daniel, I don't care." Samuel then looks at his wife and asks, "How do you feel now?" His wife breaks down in tears and says, "I love you. I only romanced Daniel, and I regret it. I love you so much, and I'm willing to do anything to make this right." Samuel hands her a gun and says, "Use this gun to kill Daniel. If you do, everything will be okay. We'll tell the police that Daniel broke into our house and you shot him in self-defense." Hearing this, his wife doesn't think twice and points the gun at Daniel. She's about to shoot, but Samuel takes the gun from her and says, "See what's really happening here." Then Samuel's wife begins to share her past. He worked extremely hard, but never got promoted. One day, her father's boss, the route home was long, and she fell asleep in the car. When she woke up, father got promoted. He called her a liar. Her father said, "As long as my boss favors me, everything is fine." She loved her father deeply and could never see him unhappy. Hearing this, Samuel felt terrible. He said, "We've all been so wrong. None of us are truly innocent. Let's leave this decision to God. He will decide what should be done." After saying this, Samuel loads a single bullet into his revolver. Sometime later, Lola comes to Samuel's house to meet him, but when the door doesn't open after a long wait, she leaves. As she walks away, she sees Samuel's truck and assumes he's still home. Inside the house, Samuel and his wife are alive. Samuel notices his wife's clothes in the yard, realizing that she has also died. In truth, Samuel had already both of them at the very start of the story when he first saw them together. Since then, he had been sitting there, imagining everything, trying to understand why his wife had betrayed him. In the end, he realizes that the boss his wife had mentioned was actually Samuel's own boss. Samuel also understands that his boss wanted to be with Lola. This realization fills Samuel with deep sorrow. He doesn't know what to do or how to move forward. He is unsure whether what he did with his wife and Daniel was right or wrong. The movie ends on this tragic and haunting note, leaving the audience with the weight of Samuel's pain and confusion.